When two people stop contacting each other, a remarkable process begins. At first, the silence might feel uncomfortable or unsettling, but over time, it opens a door to self-reflection. You see, in the constant back and forth of communication, we rarely have time to sit back and truly assess how we feel, what we want, and where we stand. But when that communication stops, when there's no text, no call, no conversation to fill the void, the space left behind can become a mirror that reflects our true thoughts, feelings, and priorities. For many, this space allows them to realize the significance of the other person. It's as if stepping back gives you a broader view, enabling you to see things clearly without the noise and distraction of daily interactions, without constant reminders of their presence. You begin to reflect on what they meant to you, on the value they brought into your life. Sometimes it's only in their absence that you truly understand their importance. And this reflection is transformative. It can deepen your gratitude, or in some cases reveal that maybe the connection wasn't as fulfilling as it once seemed. This period of reflection also fosters personal accountability. You start to think about your role in the dynamic, what you did right, where you might have fallen short, and whether you communicated your needs effectively. This introspection isn't about placing blame, it's about growing and learning. It's about becoming a better version of yourself, whether for this relationship or the ones that may follow. Moreover, this silence often brings clarity. When emotions settle and the urgency of constant communication fades, you can distinguish between genuine feelings and fleeting emotions. Was it love, companionship, or perhaps just habit? Reflection helps you peel back the layers to uncover the truth. And in that truth lies the power to decide what comes next, whether to rebuild, let go, or simply learn from the experience. So when two people don't contact each other, it's not necessarily an ending. It can be a beginning of understanding, growth, and a deeper connection with oneself. By embracing this time for reflection, you're not only honoring the relationship, but also respecting the process of self-discovery that can lead to greater clarity and purpose in life. When communication ceases between a man and a woman, something profound starts to take shape, a reevaluation of priorities. You see, when we're constantly connected, our focus is often split. We juggle responsibilities, conversations, and emotions without truly considering what or who matters most. But when that line of contact is severed, even temporarily, it creates a pause. And in that pause, we begin to understand what truly holds value in our lives. This reevaluation can be both eye-opening and humbling. It forces us to ask hard questions. What role did this person play in my life? Were they adding joy, inspiration, or comfort? Or were they a source of tension or distraction? Without their daily presence, the answer becomes clearer, unclouded by the emotional haze that often accompanies constant interaction. You might realize that their absence leaves a void that feels unnatural, because their presence brought a sense of balance or purpose. On the other hand, you might find that life feels a little lighter, a little freer without their influence, which is equally valuable to recognize. This process also reveals how aligned or misaligned your values and goals were with the other person. Maybe their priorities clash with yours, or perhaps they challenged you to grow in ways you didn't fully appreciate until now. Whatever the case, this pause is like a reset button, giving you the time and space to evaluate whether the relationship was moving you forward or holding you back. And let me tell you, this kind of clarity is a gift. It gives you the power to make decisions not based on habit or fear, but on what truly serves your life and future. Reevaluation doesn't just stop with the relationship, it extends to your own priorities and how you've been managing them. Have you been neglecting your goals, your well-being, or your passions because you were too caught up in maintaining that connection? When the noise dies down and you're left with just your thoughts, You start to see the areas of your life that need attention. This is where growth begins, when you take a step back and say, what really matters to me? So when two people don't reach out to one another, it's more than just silence. It's an opportunity, a moment to realign with your values, focus on what truly matters, and decide if the connection fits into your vision of the future. And whether it leads to reconnection or closure, the clarity gained is invaluable for your personal growth and peace of mind. When a man and a woman stop contacting each other, a natural curiosity arises. Both parties start to wonder about each other's lives, emotions, and thoughts. This curiosity isn't just idle, it's a powerful force that stirs the imagination and can bring clarity to how they truly feel. In the absence of communication, assumptions often take the place of conversations. The mind begins to fill the gaps, and this can lead to a deeper understanding of what that connection meant. Curiosity is a double-edged sword. On one hand, it can lead to clarity about your own emotions. You might find yourself asking, do I miss them because I value their presence, or do I miss them because it was familiar? These questions reveal what you might have been avoiding while the connection was active. It's in the silence that you discover whether your thoughts are drawn to them because of love, respect, and admiration, or simply out of habit or loneliness. On the other hand, curiosity also creates a mirror effect. While you're wondering about them, they might be wondering about you too. This mutual curiosity often brings an unspoken tension to the space. Each person begins to analyze past interactions, trying to decipher meanings, intentions, or unresolved feelings. It's a time when clarity about mutual respect or unmet expectations surfaces, providing a foundation for either reconnection or a peaceful letting go. What's particularly interesting is how curiosity often amplifies appreciation. Absence, as the saying goes, makes the heart grow fonder. When you're not in constant contact, you start to remember the positive qualities of the other person, the way they made you laugh, how they supported you, or the unique perspective they brought into your life. These memories can be powerful reminders of their impact, which you might not have fully acknowledged while you were constantly connected. However, curiosity isn't always about romantic or emotional longing. Sometimes it's practical. You start to wonder how they're doing, if they're happy, if they've grown, or if they've found peace. This kind of curiosity is rooted in care and empathy. It's less about rekindling the connection and more about genuinely hoping that they're on the right path, even if that path no longer involves you. In these moments of curiosity, it's essential to be honest with yourself. Are your thoughts driven by unresolved emotions, or are they a sign of something deeper? The answers to these questions can guide your next steps, whether it's reaching out, finding closure, or moving forward with greater self-awareness. Ultimately, curiosity that grows during a pause in communication serves a purpose. It helps you reflect, reframe, and reevaluate what you truly want. And whether it's the reconciliation or a renewed focus on yourself, it's a step toward understanding and growth. Balance doesn't just create curiosity, it creates an opportunity to see the truth. When a man and a woman stop contacting each other, it creates a natural opportunity for boundaries to be tested and respected. In relationships, whether romantic or platonic, boundaries are often an unspoken yet essential aspect of healthy dynamics. When contact ceases, it's a moment that reveals whether those boundaries were ever truly honored and whether they would be respected moving forward. This pause in communication is a unique test of maturity. For some, it becomes a moment to overstep, reaching out excessively, ignoring the other person's need for space, or trying to manipulate the situation to force a response. These actions only serve to highlight insecurity and a lack of respect. On the other hand, the individual who honors the silence, who resists the urge to intrude or demand answers, shows a profound level of emotional intelligence. They recognize that sometimes the healthiest thing you can do is to allow distance to speak for itself. Boundaries are not walls, they are guidelines that ensure mutual respect. When contact stops, it's not necessarily a sign of rejection, it's often a request for space, whether spoken or unspoken. Respecting this space demonstrates that you value not only the other person's autonomy, but also your own. It's a declaration of self-worth that says, I trust the process and I respect you enough to let you come to your own conclusions. Interestingly, when boundaries are upheld during this time, it often deepens the level of respect between both parties. The absence of overstepping creates a safe space for both individuals to reflect without the pressure of immediate resolution. This reflection can lead to clarity about what the relationship means and whether it aligns with their long-term values and goals. It's in this quiet, respectful distance that true understanding often emerges. The strength of respecting boundaries is also tied to self-control. In a moment of no contact, the temptation to act impulsively is strong, whether sending a message out of frustration, seeking validation through others, or trying to stir a reaction. But those who demonstrate self-control prove that they are not ruled by fleeting emotions. They show that their actions are guided by principle, not impulse. And this strength often inspires admiration and trust. When you respect boundaries, you send a clear message. You are not desperate, you are not chasing, and you are not afraid of silence. This confidence is magnetic. It communicates that you value yourself enough not to beg for attention or validation. People are drawn to those who exude such self-assurance because it signifies emotional stability and independence. In respecting the boundaries that arise during no contact, you also set the tone for the future of the relationship. Whether it's a reconciliation or a parting of ways, your actions during this time establish the foundation for how the other person will view you. They will either see you as someone who respected their needs or as someone who couldn't honor their autonomy. The choice is entirely in how you handle this period of silence. At its core, respecting boundaries during no contact isn't just about the other person, it's about respecting yourself. It's about recognizing that your worth isn't tied to someone else's immediate response or attention. It's about standing firm in your principles and allowing the space for something genuine to emerge, whether that's reconnection or personal growth. By honoring boundaries, you show strength, maturity, and an unwavering belief in your own value. When a man and a woman stop contacting each other, it creates a vacuum that often amplifies the dynamics of independence and self-worth. In this period of silence, each person is left to confront their sense of self without the influence or validation of the other. This is a critical time for both to assess their individual strength, emotional maturity, and capacity to stand on their own. True independence in any relationship is not about detachment or indifference, but about recognizing and nurturing your identity outside of that connection. When the lines of communication go silent, it's not uncommon for insecurities to surface. Questions like, do they miss me or what are they thinking, can dominate the mind. But these moments of uncertainty are where personal growth truly begins. They are an invitation to shift the focus inward and ask, what do I need for my own happiness and fulfillment? This period is an opportunity to build resilience. For many, a break in contact can feel like rejection or abandonment, but it's rarely about that. Instead, it's a chance to strengthen your sense of self-worth and to remind yourself that your value doesn't depend on someone else's attention or approval. When you embrace this time to grow, to reflect, and to invest in your own goals and dreams, you demonstrate that you are not defined by the presence or absence of someone else in your life. For men and women alike, independence is magnetic. It shows that you are not dependent on the relationship for your happiness, that you can thrive on your own. When you use this time to focus on personal growth, you cultivate an aura of confidence and self-assurance. This kind of independence doesn't push people away, it draws them in. It communicates that you are whole in your own. And that kind of wholeness is both inspiring and attractive. It's also important to recognize that this silence isn't just about personal growth, it's a chance to recalibrate the relationship itself. When both parties take time to focus on themselves, they often return to the dynamic with a clearer understanding of their needs and boundaries. They approach the relationship from a place of strength rather than neediness. This creates a healthier foundation, one where both individuals can contribute to the connection without losing their sense of self. The beauty of independence is that it fosters mutual respect. When someone sees that you are capable of thriving without them, it doesn't diminish your value in their eyes, it elevates it. It shows that you are with them by choice, not out of dependency or fear of being alone. This choice, grounded in confidence and self-awareness, is the cornerstone of a strong, enduring relationship. In moments of no contact, the work of cultivating independence isn't easy. It requires discipline to resist the urge to reach out, patience to sit with the discomfort of uncertainty, and courage to face yourself fully. But the rewards of this work are immeasurable. It's in this silence that you find your strength, rediscover your passions, and reconnect with your purpose. Ultimately, the independence you cultivate during this time doesn't just benefit you, it benefits the relationship. When two individuals come together, each secure in their own identity, they create a partnership that is balanced, respectful, and deeply fulfilling. Silence, when embraced as a space for growth, becomes a powerful tool for strengthening both the self and the connection. When a man and a woman do not contact each other, something significant begins to happen beneath the surface. Clarity starts to emerge. Without the distraction of constant communication, both parties have the space to step back and truly see the relationship for what it is, not what they wish it to be. This period of silence acts as a mirror reflecting the dynamics, the emotions, and the intentions that were once clouded by the immediacy of interaction. Clarity is a gift of space. When you're in the thick of a relationship, it's easy to overlook certain patterns or behaviors. Maybe there were moments that didn't sit right with you, but you brushed them aside because you didn't want to rock the boat. Or perhaps there were needs you had that went unspoken because you were afraid they'd be misunderstood. In silence, those moments come back into focus, and you begin to ask yourself the hard questions. Was I truly happy? Was I being honest with myself? Were my needs being met? For the man, this period often becomes a time to evaluate his priorities. Without the immediate connection, he begins to question how much he truly values the relationship. Does he miss her presence? Does he feel a void in his life without her energy? And for the woman, this silence is a chance to tune into her own intuition. Women are often highly intuitive, and when the noise of constant communication quiets, they can hear their inner voice more clearly. That voice might be telling her something she's been ignoring, whether it's a call to let go or a reminder of what she truly deserves. Clarity doesn't always lead to an answer right away, but it opens the door for understanding. It allows both individuals to identify their feelings without external influence. Sometimes in this process, they realize the depth of their connection. They see the relationship as something worth fighting for, worth growing through. Other times, the clarity reveals cracks in the foundation that can no longer be ignored. And while that realization can be painful, it's also liberating. It frees both people to pursue what truly aligns with their heart. This process of gaining clarity also exposes the truths we often hide from ourselves. Are you staying in the relationship out of love or out of fear of being alone? Are you holding on to someone who doesn't see your worth, or are you overlooking your own value in an effort to please the other person? These questions come to light as silence, and the answers can be transformative. When a man and a woman gain clarity during this time, they come back to the relationship, if they do it all, with a renewed sense of purpose. If they choose to reconnect, it's not out of habit or convenience. It's because they have seen the relationship clearly and have decided it's worth investing in. This clarity leads to deeper communication, stronger boundaries, and a partnership built on truth rather than assumptions. And if they don't reconnect, that clarity serves them in moving forward. It empowers them to seek relationships that align with their values and needs. It gives them the strength to let go of what no longer serves them, knowing they're making room for something better. In either case, clarity is the compass that guides them toward a future that is authentic and fulfilling. In the end, the silence becomes a powerful teacher. It teaches us that space is not something to fear, but to embrace. It shows us that the answers we seek are often within us, waiting for the noise to quiet so they can rise to the surface. And it reminds us that the most meaningful relationships are not those that demand constant contact, but those that are built on a foundation of truth, respect, and genuine understanding. When a man and a woman do not contact each other, something transformative begins to happen. The dynamics of power and perspective shift. In relationships, constant communication can sometimes mask imbalances, leaving one person feeling taken for granted while the other remains unaware of their own patterns. However, when silence enters the picture, it disrupts the status quo, creating space for reflection and realignment. For the man, this period often brings an awareness of absence. The calls, the messages, the shared moments, they're no longer there. And suddenly, the things he may have overlooked or assumed would always be available become glaringly evident. He begins to question his role in the relationship. Did he fully appreciate her? Did he meet her halfway? Or did he take more than he gave? Without the immediate validation of her presence, he's left with his own thoughts and the reality of what she brought into his life. For the woman, this silence becomes an opportunity to reclaim her power. Too often, women are conditioned to chase, to fix, or to overcompensate when a relationship feels off balance. But in choosing not to reach out, she is making a powerful statement. She values herself enough to let things unfold naturally. She is not playing games. She is asserting her worth. And in doing so, she sets a tone that says, I am not here to beg for love or attention. I deserve to be chosen freely and wholeheartedly. This shift in dynamics can be profound. The man starts to recognize that love and connection are not things to be taken lightly. He begins to see her not just as someone who enhances his life, but as someone whose absence creates a void. This realization often leads to a deeper appreciation and a willingness to step up in ways he may not have before. And for the woman, this time apart strengthens her sense of self. She is reminded that her value does not depend on his recognition of it. She is enough, whether he returns or not. Silence in this way is not about playing hard to get. It's about creating space for genuine feelings to surface. It's about giving both individuals the room to ask themselves what they truly want and whether they are willing to work for it. The man might come back with a renewed sense of purpose, ready to invest more deeply in the relationship. Or he might not come back at all, revealing that his interest was not as strong as it seemed. Either way, the silence serves its purpose. It brings clarity and balance to the situation. In the end, this shift in dynamics is not just about the relationship, it's about personal growth. It's about learning to value yourself enough to allow things to unfold naturally without forcing or controlling the outcome. It's about understanding that true connection is never one-sided. It's a mutual choice made in freedom and respect. And when both individuals recognize this, they create the foundation for something real and enduring. When a man and a woman choose not to contact each other, they allow the gift of time and space to work its magic. This absence often leads to clarity, helping each person to sift through their emotions and understand their true feelings. In the constant flow of communication, it's easy for emotions to become entangled, for misunderstandings to pile up, or for one to lose sight of the relationship's value. But in the stillness of no contact, much becomes clear. For the man, this space often becomes a mirror. It forces him to look inward and assess his priorities. Without the daily interactions, he begins to ask himself questions that he may have ignored before. What does this relationship mean to him? Is he truly committed, or has he taken her presence for granted? Silence can be uncomfortable, but it also creates a fertile ground for honesty. He starts to see whether his feelings are rooted in genuine connection or convenience. This self-awareness is crucial for growth, both personally and in the context of the relationship. Similarly, for the woman, this time apart is an opportunity to reconnect with herself. Often, women invest so deeply in relationships that they lose pieces of their individuality along the way. They give, they nurture, and they compromise, sometimes to the detriment of their own well-being. No contact offers her a chance to step back and evaluate. Who is she without the relationship? What does she want? What does she deserve? In the silence, she finds her voice, a voice that reminds her of her worth and the importance of mutual respect and effort in any connection. The absence of communication also creates a natural pause in the dynamic, removing external pressures and allowing each person to feel what it means to be without the other. This can lead to profound realizations. If the connection is real and meaningful, both will feel its absence deeply. The man may come to realize that her presence brought balance, joy, or stability to his life. He may feel an undeniable pull to bridge the gap, to reach out and restore what was lost. For the woman, the time apart can validate her belief in her own strength. She discovers that she does not need the relationship to define her. And this newfound independence only makes her more compelling and confident. Silence also tests the resilience of the relationship. If the bond is superficial, it will fade during this time. But if it's built on something real, the distance will only strengthen the connection. Both individuals will emerge from the silence with a clearer understanding of themselves and each other. This clarity often becomes the foundation for a deeper, more authentic connection. The beauty of this process lies in its authenticity. No contact isn't about manipulation or testing the other person's feelings. It's about allowing space for emotions to settle and truth to emerge. It's about creating an environment where both parties can reflect and make intentional choices rather than reactive ones. And when they do come back together, it's with a renewed sense of purpose, appreciation, and clarity about what they want to move forward. This silence is not a void, it's a bridge. It's a pause that carries with it the potential for transformation, both individually and as a partnership. When both people are willing to honor that space, they create a path to something richer, stronger, and more aligned with their true selves. When a man and a woman decide not to contact each other, a significant aspect of this process is the space it provides for healing. Emotional wounds, misunderstandings, and conflicts can leave lasting impressions that need time and reflection to address properly. The absence of communication allows both individuals to step away from the heat of the moment and process their emotions constructively without the influence of external pressures. For the man, this period of silence can become a journey of accountability. If there were conflicts or mistakes on his part, the quiet time offers a chance to examine his actions objectively. Instead of reacting defensively or brushing aside responsibility, he begins to understand the impact of his choices. Maybe he realizes he was dismissive of her needs or that his actions unintentionally caused her pain. This self-awareness is crucial because it lays the groundwork for sincere apologies and meaningful change. It's in this quiet, reflective state that a man often learns the value of humility and the importance of emotional maturity in a relationship. For the woman, this silence creates a sanctuary where she can reclaim her emotional balance. Often, women bear the emotional weight of relationships, trying to resolve conflicts or fix problems without allowing themselves to fully process their feelings. In the absence of contact, she has the opportunity to prioritize her well-being and confront any unresolved emotions, whether they stem from anger, sadness, or disappointment. This time apart allows her to heal on her own terms, ensuring that when she re-engages, it's from a place of strength rather than lingering hurt. The healing process isn't always easy. The quiet can feel unsettling, even lonely, but it's in this discomfort that growth occurs. Both parties are forced to sit with their feelings, to confront the truths they may have avoided when communication was constant. The silence strips away distractions and defenses, leaving only the raw emotions that need addressing. While this can be painful, it's also liberating. It's the path to true emotional clarity and resolution. Healing during no contact isn't just about addressing past wounds, it's also about building resilience for the future. As the man and woman work through their emotions separately, they gain a deeper understanding of what they need from each other and from the relationship. They learn to communicate their feelings more effectively, to set healthy boundaries, and to approach the connection with greater empathy and respect. What's beautiful about this process is that it doesn't just mend the relationship, it transforms it. By taking the time to heal, both individuals become stronger and more self-aware, which elevates the relationship to a healthier, more balanced level. When they do reconnect, it's not out of dependency or unresolved issues, but out of a genuine desire to build something better together. This period of silence and healing is a testament to the power of patience and emotional growth. It's a reminder that sometimes stepping back is the most profound act of love, not just for the other person, but for oneself. When a man and a woman honor this time of no contact, they create the conditions for a relationship that's not only repaired, but renewed, grounded in mutual understanding and respect. And that ultimately is what sets the stage for lasting connection and harmony. When a man and a woman are not in contact with each other, it often signals a deep need for personal space, reflection, and clarity. This break from communication, although sometimes uncomfortable, offers both individuals the chance to recalibrate their emotions and thoughts. It's a moment to reassess priorities, personal boundaries, and emotional states without the influence of immediate reactions or the noise of constant interaction. Sometimes silence is the most powerful response because it allows both parties to focus on their own well-being and grow in the process. For the man during this break, he often experiences a shift in perspective. In relationships, men may sometimes feel the pressure to always fix things, to respond immediately, or to be the one who resolves conflicts. However, no contact creates an opportunity for him to step back and realize that solutions don't always lie in immediate responses or interventions. He is forced to confront his own vulnerabilities, to reflect on his feelings and actions without relying on the constant reassurance or feedback from the other person. This period allows him to evolve emotionally, recognizing that his role is not just about fixing problems, but also understanding the deeper emotional needs that underlie them. On the other hand, for the woman, this absence of communication gives her a chance to regain her own center of power. Often in relationships, women are seen as the emotional nurturers, constantly attuned to the needs of the relationship and the people involved. But without contact, she is free from the emotional labor of keeping things afloat. She is no longer constantly engaged in managing the relationship dynamics or absorbing emotional energy from the man. Instead, she has space to reflect on what truly matters to her, to reconnect with her passions, goals, and dreams. This time apart is a necessary reset, allowing her to focus on herself without the pressures of the relationship demanding her energy. During this break, both individuals are given the freedom to reflect on their values and what they truly want. They are no longer caught up in the heat of the moment or in reactive patterns that may have led to miscommunication. The lack of contact fosters an environment where they can each dig deeper into their personal growth. For the man, it is a chance to evaluate the relationship not from a place of needing to win her back or prove his worth, but from a place of clarity about what he wants from the connection and how he can grow as an individual. For the woman, this time apart offers the gift of empowerment. It's a time for her to reflect on her worth, her needs, and whether those needs are being met in the relationship. The silence encourages her to regain perspective, acknowledging that her value isn't dependent on constant communication or validation. She becomes more attuned to her inner strength, realizing that sometimes the most powerful thing she can do is not chase after the relationship, but focus on herself, her growth, and her happiness. This break also creates a healthy distance for both individuals to address their own issues without the interference of the other. The relationship dynamics may have been clouded by emotions, but this time away allows both people to process their emotions independently. The ability to separate the personal growth journey from the relationship itself leads to more sustainable emotional health in the long run. Ultimately, this period of no contact can lead to greater clarity, growth, and a more balanced relationship when they do reconnect. It may not always be easy, and it may bring up uncomfortable emotions, but it is an essential step in transforming the dynamic between the two. It's through this process of reflection and healing that both the man and the woman come to realize their worth and the importance of a healthy, respectful relationship. And when they come together again, they are more grounded, more self-aware, and better equipped to build a relationship based on mutual respect and understanding rather than dependency or unresolved emotional baggage. No contact is not an end, it's often a new beginning. It's about giving each person the space they need to grow, reflect, and come back to the relationship as their truest selves, ready to create something healthier and more fulfilling.